Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the next episode of Joe Kelley's Psychedelic Experience. Your old pal Joe, hanging out with my very good friend, Mr. Monty Mitchell. Back to the podcast. We haven't seen you in a minute, Monty. Thanks for coming on, buddy. You been all right?
Yeah, I've been great.
Yeah,
we did like 4 in a month.
We did,
and then I haven't seen you for 6 months.
I've seen you. We've seen each other in person.
We've seen each other.
Haven't done a podcast.
Yeah.
We just, we went out with such a bang with the one with Aaron that it's a tough one to top.
Spilt his big gulp.
Spilt his big Bojangles. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to tell them where to find that one. That's episode 81.
No, we're not that far yet. Not that far yet. I think this will be. This will be 72. It's something. It's pretty close to that.
All right.
It's still fresh.
But that was great.
Yeah, that was a fun time. That was good. What'd you do? What are you doing with yourself? How was the bus, Monty?
Things are starting to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in November now. No, we're in December.
Mm-hmm.
Today's the last day of November. Stuff's slowing down. What about you?
I don't work on a bus.
What do you do during the day?
I sit exactly where I'm sitting right now, and I'll talk into the microphone or I'll edit stuff on the computer. That's it. That's pretty much what I do. Lord knows I ain't getting spots in this fucking town anymore. You know?
What?
Yeah. Atlanta's for the birds at this point, in my opinion.
Time to move back home. Or move back to Tennessee.
It is, yeah. It's time to. It's about time to get the fuck out of here. I know that. Ain't getting no spots nowhere. And not even trying anymore. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of over it. Yeah. I'm just like, even for the skull, I'm just at the point where it's like, even the 2.5 minutes it takes to send my avails is too much effort for me to get 2 spots every fucking 3 months. You know, so I'm just over it. So I'm just fucking. I went to the open mic last night. I couldn't even get a spot.
Wow.
They had fucking, they had 22 people who have never done comedy pretty much. And then 16 other open micers just showed up. So it's like, what the fuck am I even doing here?
Man, this is the life of trying to get a comedy career going.
I guess.
A lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And a lot of lulls in between and a lot of stuff people don't see,
Yeah. All
about anybody that they see on TV's had these same deals coming up.
Well, now it's a little bit different, with TikTok and the internet and YouTube and shit like that. Like, there's people out there, like realistically, like people who blew up on TikTok who've never done stand-up.
Yeah, you go see them at a show and it'll come through right quick.
Yeah, for sure.
TikTok doesn't translate to stage.
No, it doesn't. But they still,
I know.
It's like a cheat code, or they get to skip the steps. Yeah. But even then, unless they're really into it, like a guy, maybe like a Steve-O or something like that, where it's like, this is the thing that I'm going to do from now on is do stand-up. But most of it's like, you get that big viral video, and then it's like, let me capitalize as much as I possibly can on this and book a year tour, sell out every weekend, bomb everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And then just, and then move on to the next thing and go back to dancing.
Because it was YouTube before it was TikTok.
Yeah, it still is a little bit. I don't know. I think YouTube's on its way out, man.
I know, but I'm saying before TikTok, it was YouTube that these guys would get booked all over the place and then had nothing to back it up with once they got out to the venue that booked them.
Yeah.
Well, they were just TikTok. I don't want to hate.
Why not?
I don't want to. You don't want to sound bitter.
I'm not bitter. I'm bitter. I mean, we are though. Yeah, we are kind of.
I'm not bitter.
It is. It's like I don't know. Maybe music's the same. Maybe it's just art or art using that in like quotes or whatever in general, to where it's like there's just like the shit that we've done and we've gone through, and people can just skip over all of that, and get the
Yeah.
thing that we're trying to get at, which ideally is like headlining weekends, touring, doing comedy or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's
full
like,
calendar.
yeah, you can't, you
You can
can't,
even take, just you want a full calendar featuring, and then headlining as much as you can, but you know,
yeah. I don't even think I want that anymore. I don't even want to feature anymore. I just want to do my own shit. That's it.
all right.
That's all I want to do.
Well, I mean, if you're supposed to do the stair steps, just
I mean, you're so old
I
school
know,
with it
I
though, man.
know, I know,
It's okay. I mean, it is what it is.
but yeah,
Who do you feature for anymore? Do you feature for anybody anymore?
celebrities at Zanies.
Oh, okay. So you do like the big weekends. But is anybody taking you out with them?
No, not yet.
Yeah. You're the only one that
But
takes
there's
me
always,
out.
I'm always positive about it.
Yeah. I'm not.
I remember this has been several years ago, and Joe Coy, I've told this. Joe Coy was at Zanies, and we were just doing a showcase, but he had showed up a day early, and I had a good set at Zanies, but everybody went up. They heard that Joe Coy was up in the balcony, and he watched the show. Everybody went up there to meet him. They're like, "Come up here and meet Joe Coy," and I was like, "I don't want to bother him." He came to me and said, "Here's my assistant's email. Email her, tell her that, I sent you, and we'll talk from there." Dude, I was so excited on the way home. And I don't think I emailed the next day. I didn't want to look desperate. So it was like the day after that, and I never got a response. But for like 2 days, I dreamed that I was going to feature Go on the Road with Joe Coy.
Yeah, I feel that way. I mean, yeah. Yeah. That's part of it too. Maybe you should have emailed more, but it's like anybody who's ever been like, "Hey, hit me up when you're in town, or if you see me coming through, hit me up and I'll get you on." It's never fucking happened.
Really.
Never. Never.
I've had Jermaine Funny Man
Funny
Johnson.
Maine.
He did that. He saw me and Brad Sativa, and he said, "I'd like to take you on the." He said, "I'd like to do more shows with you," and he sure enough did. He kept to it, and he took us down to Tuscaloosa, and we did a theater, the Bama Theater. He came through. I remember whenever the first year that I started, Chattanooga guy Ed Kaler, he saw me, and it was Chattanooga, and he said, "I'd like to have you on a show," and he did. He took us down to Macon, Georgia, and we did a show. I mean, it happens.
Sure. I've done,
It
I guess,
happens.
more like local shows, but anytime I've ever like worked with somebody and done like a weekend and be like, "Hey, here's my number, hit me up whenever you're
Uh,
coming through." Never, never. I got a list of fucking people I've hit up, and they just either don't get back or it's busy or whatever it is. Mark Norman
yeah,
did do me a kind of a solid one time. He at least gave me a contact that in New Orleans. It's a contact that I already had and had already reached out the dude, but he never would get back to me. But then I was like, well, maybe if I tell you that Mark Norman sent me, you'll
yeah.
respond to my email because you're just a local guy in New Orleans. But sure as shit, he didn't. Then I went and
Hell,
did an open mic with him and buried that motherfucker.
Mark Norman.
No, I love Mark. No, the dude that Mark told me to hit up in New
Oh,
Orleans.
that is. I mean, that is pretty good. Mark, Mark still remembers what it was like.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I think he's
he's
doing.
blown up, but he still remembers. Very real.
I think he's
But
just now getting into theaters too. I think he's doing a theater in Atlanta sometime in December. I think he's doing Buckhead Theater. But last time he was, I think the last time he came through Atlanta was like one of the last time that they did a headliner at the Skull or something like that. Because I was a
Yeah.
resident, so I got to work with him. And he was just in Nashville, too. So that was like the perfect transition because he was at Zanies or whatever. And everyone's like, oh, you're going down to Atlanta. You know, Joe's down there. Joe's going to be great. You're going to love Joe. So it was just like a good, he
It
already
was
knew
about
who I was coming down sort of thing.
it was about this time last year that I worked with him uh, for the weekend at Zanies.
Bro,
He's great.
he's the best, man. He's
Yeah.
a funny, a wacky dude. He fucking, it was like the last show of his weekend, like the late show Saturday, right? And he has maybe 3 minutes left on stage, and some lady in the front row just fucking pukes all over the place while he's in his closer. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
So he did like an extra 20. Somehow he got out of it still, and like they left, people came and cleaned up the puke, and he still ended very, very strong. It
Oh
was,
my
you know,
gosh.
it's like, it just to think about just the struggle that people have to deal with, like a check drop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When people start giving out the tickets,
Yeah.
so they go, now it's time to settle up, pay your tabs, whatever, and that's
Can
like
you
a.
imagine smelling vomit?
It's so nasty. It's so nasty.
Oh my gosh.
That lady was fucked up the whole show. It was ridiculous. But he made it through. That's some pro level shit, you know?
Hey, can you pause this
I mean,
so I can
yeah,
go pee?
I'll cut it. I'll cut it up. I'm gonna pee too, as a matter of fact.
All right. All right, good.
I can't take okay. I already gotta pee. We're in sync, my dude.
We are.
This shit's funny.
Ah,
What's the worst
thanks.
thing that's happened to you while you've been on stage as far as like an audience? Has anything ever happened to like an audience member or something other than the usual people just yelling stupid shit out? Has anybody ever puked or fucking something bad, get in a
Uh,
fight or anything? How long have you
yeah,
been doing
we've had
comedy now, Monty? God damn.
12 years,
That's
and
it?
we have, yeah, during um my first recording, album recording or whatever, um, there was a friend that came. She got super drunk. Casey, did she puke whenever I was recording my first?
The special guest in here.
Yeah. Uh, I don't want to say a name, but she got super drunk and you could hear her over there. I think she puked, but it wasn't obvious if she did. Uh, Joe asked, "What's the worst thing that's happened?" Audience. So I was featuring for Tim Wilson, and he was notorious for provoking audience. He'll get them going, and a fight broke out there that it was in Chattanooga,
At the
and
old comedy
fight
catch.
a fight between two tables. Yeah, at the old one. Between two tables, they started fighting, and Tim jumped in the middle, and then Alfano came out there and broke it up. But Tim was really good about, yeah, they did kick. Yeah, he was waiting after the show. He said he was going to wait on Tim, and they had rented a limousine this party, and so this guy was sitting he was sitting at the rear of this limousine with his arms crossed, acting like he's waiting on Tim Wilson to come out. And I went back in and told Tim, I said, that dude's out there waiting on you. He goes, good. He went out there just like busted down the door trying to get out there.
Tim did?
Yeah. Yeah. He said that won't be the first time I went to jail at a at a comedy show. And Tim went out there, lit a cigarette, and that guy never said nothing. I think he just kind of slowly got into the back of that limousine. Never said nothing. Just, you know, what else with audience?
Bro, a good limo story. That's still That's still one of my favorite fucking comedy times or whatever. Because I wasn't even that. I was like whatever a year or two in with you out in Jackson
Oh yeah,
when you were
we went
headlining and you
we
fucking
went to that
ripped
after.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we
The-
went to the after where they had the after party, whatever that was.
well, they took us in their limo. It was somebody's birthday, and
They
they
did
had their
take
whole
us.
limo.
Yep,
Gave us Bud
took us in a
Lights,
limo,
rodeo, whatever the fuck was going on.
rodeo knobs or rodeo.
So electrical or mechanical bull or something like that.
Yeah,
But that was just like I almost got spoiled because that was so early on. I was like, oh, this is what the road's gonna be like.
limos going
Yeah,
to the
Limo's
bar.
going, hey, you were funny. Why don't you guys come with us? We'll take care of you the whole night. Cut to 8 years later. It's like there's a lot of times where nobody wants to talk to you at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I did bad and I don't want nobody to talk to me.
That too, yeah. I didn't need that sympathy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
No, we
I
loved you.
don't. I don't even want to go out there and meet them.
Isn't that the worst fucking thing where it's like you bomb and you know you bomb, and then for some reason people come up to you after the show and we go, hey, we loved you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and yeah. Well, sometimes you know how those jokes go. You know how those jokes got big laughs, and sometimes people don't know. Maybe your standards are higher. Maybe it just wasn't a very vocal crowd. Maybe they were having a good time
That could be too.
inside, or maybe you just maybe you are spoilt with bigger laughs. They were all having the same amount of good times, but it just was on a different level.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
don't.
a silent good time is something you have by yourself. You
I
don't
know.
you don't go
I
out
know.
to a comedy club and go, I'm having a great time. I'm just going to sit here and not smile or make a sound, but I'm really loving
Yeah,
what's going on right now.
I'm telling you that you do. You have those, and I don't know how it happens that all those people show up at the same show,
Yeah.
but they're just like not laughers, but having a good time. I don't know.
They're either full of shit or they're autistic. It's one of the two.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's
I
like,
know that you have though. You've had those shows where they come up to you afterwards and they're like, "That was great," and I'm like, "Really?" Because I felt like I bombed the whole time.
yeah. Yeah, but it's also like I saw you not laughing, so why are you telling me you had a great time?
Some
Maybe
people,
some people
some
just don't laugh.
some people are just not outside laughers.
Well,
Their heart is full of chuckles,
I
but
think
their mouth is empty.
I think they're liars. But you're
Maybe.
you're optimistic kind of guy.
BJ.
That's good. That's good.
You
It's,
don't want to be delusional though.
no, of course not.
I've never said I killed it and then nobody talked to me. I've never said I killed it anyways, but all those times I thought, okay, I've bombed. I've never been. You ever been? I don't think you would say if you did, but how bad would that be that you thought you killed? You go out there to meet the people afterwards, and everybody just walks right past you, like you didn't. This is what Brian Dorfman told me at Zanies. You never bomb as hard as you think you did, and you never kill as hard as you think you did.
I got to disagree with Brian on that.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I can tell when I do well and I can tell when I don't.
Yeah, but did you do as bad as you thought? I don't think you ever do as bad as you thought. Like you're like, this show sucked. I bombed the whole time. You never do that bad.
No, I have done that bad.
I
It's-
don't I don't I don't think it's as bad as you think.
I think it is, Monty. I think Did I ever tell you about the time? I think it was in San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken. Whenever I was leaving Seattle, and I was closing out some brewery show, and I was doing like 45 minutes, and I bombed for the whole 45, like nothing,
Oh my God.
nothing at all, nothing
Oh
at
my God.
all. Bomb, 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 and I ran through every joke, and no one's laughing, and I finally come. I'm just like at this point because I always do the set list too. I've done everything on the set list. I've done everything I could think of, and I'm standing there just talking, just trying to think of one more joke. And finally, it pops in my head, and I go, "This, I got my purse joke. I can close on my purse joke, and then I'll get the fuck out of here." And right as it clicks in my head, this lady in the second row has a fucking seizure.
Had that.
It had a straight seizure, started shaking, fell out of her chair. So now I'm just standing there on stage, not telling jokes, not knowing what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? But I guess they got her
We've had
taken
that.
care of. It was a fucking disaster. But then afterwards, that was out of that whole trip because that was like 100 days on the road. 101 days on the road is what I did. I didn't sell more merch after any other show than that one. People came up and bought a bunch of shit. And it's like, I don't know.
Really?
Either you feel bad for me, or I think it was just people felt bad. I think people forgot how bad I did. That lady, her almost dying saved me. You know what I mean?
Maybe they liked the way you kept your composure
Maybe.
during all that.
I just stood there
We
and
were in Clarksville, and a lady had a seizure. You remember that? It happened at Out Front too.
oh, good old out front, man.
I have memories every day from Out Front.
Yeah,
That
I get
guy,
everything on the
George
tail end.
Manis, took so many pictures, and we were there evidently every night from probably 9 years to what, about 5 years ago? Probably in 4 years. I have a memory on Facebook every day from that place.
Yeah, it was the perfect spot because you could get, as far as like someone who's starting out or just doing
Yes.
whatever, it was like you could get so
Yeah.
much time down there. You know what
Yep.
I mean? It was
Hmm.
great for that. George was all about like, you want to do time, do some time.
Yep.
Figure out how to
I
do 40
love.
minutes.
Yep. I loved him for that because there was so many people starting out that uh got to do long sets
Uh
that they
huh.
wouldn't anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Uh,
even now, I'm trying to think. Even like in town here in Atlanta, like most sets are like 8 minutes. You know what I mean? You're not
yeah,
getting like 15, 20, let alone 40 minutes. A year and a
he
half
was
in, he's like, yeah,
so
headline your show, make your poster. We'll get some people in here and you do your thing and we'll see what happens.
he was so supportive of everybody. He was such a good dude. I mean, he's still alive. He ain't dead. But that era is gone, and it was. It
Yeah.
was. I felt like it was about 4 years, if it was that long.
That's it?
I don't even know if it was that long. What do you think? But
Just to set, it was a small little theater in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, right next to the campus of MTSU. Little BYOB theater that was just
mhm,
like, I have this space. You guys do whatever you want with it. It's
yep,
fucking incredible.
yep, it was so good. We had so much good times there. I remember J Dub did a show there one weekend, and afterwards they made us like legit wings. Remember that? They brought in a fryer, made us some legit hot wings. I don't even know if where they wasn't buffalo. It was like a family recipe, and just little stuff like that. You know, made everybody on the show. There's YouTube videos of me dancing, trying to
Yeah.
out dance J
Yep.
Dub.
The shots dance.
Yeah, the shot dance. And then whenever Irene made that music video,
Yeah.
Gap Teeth,
Yeah.
I was in that, and we made video from there. We made
Yeah,
video.
I took pictures of all that.
Yeah,
That's back when I had that camera.
yeah. And then there was one winter. His landlord was a piece of shit, and his we had no heat. We was doing a weekend show there, and there was absolutely no heat. Remember, and it was just as cold. Felt like it was colder in there than it was outside. Yeah, the pipes bust.
Oh Jesus!
Wasn't it? It was like a big scenario of, uh, yeah, the floor was rotted. The sewer backed
Yeah,
up. Sewer backed up constantly. It would smell like poop in there. It was it was a great venue though. We had so much
I
fun.
suppose so. There's no way
Hmm.
it ever made any money. I feel like I was around when it smelled like shit too. Was it in one particular spot that it smelled like shit?
I felt like it was like if it rained
Yeah.
and the ground got saturated or something. I don't know that it would the sewer would back up.
Didn't one of the floors in the one of the bathrooms completely collapse?
Did one of the floors in the bathroom completely
I'm
collapse?
pretty sure that was a thing right
I
towards
know
the
that
end.
like right at the door. I think it was like uh the second bathroom. Can you hear her at all?
A little bit.
The second bathroom, she says the floor collapsed. Yeah, the door.
Yeah, Monty's conscience checking in on the podcast.
Hey, she can remember stuff where there's gaps.
Yeah, she
Me and you,
probably remembers every goddamn thing.
me and you, where there's gaps. I got her.
Yeah, yeah. There's always right around 10:30 there starts to form a gap every single night.
It's 10:30. There starts to be gaps in the night. She said 9.
Nah, that could
I
be.
think no,
Bro, I
we're
remember
we
out.
can hold better than that.
Yeah, but out front I was drinking vodka and Gatorade a lot.
She said 5 o'clock.
For
Oh,
who?
she brought up the butter.
Oh fuck. Oh,
Do
that's still the worst.
you want it?
The
Have you told
worst night. I
that
know. I've
before?
never talked about that on the podcast. No, absolutely not, man. It's the worst. The worst fucking night of my life. I know that.
Do you want to tell it?
Sure, we can. We can
Yeah.
talk about it. That was. I mean, fuck. I couldn't even have been
Another great venue. Another great venue
Spankies.
where I started. It's where you
That's
started.
where I started too. Yeah.
And a lot of great memories at that place. I
Yeah.
never missed. It was on a Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
I never missed. Sometimes that was the only show starting out. We didn't have open mics every night like we do now. Sometimes two. We only had that one. And every now and then there would be like a once a month. But Spankies, if you missed Spankies, you didn't have a show that week, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we had showcases at Zanies. They were very generous with uh, the locals too.
Well, I think
But
by
those
the
didn't come along much because Zanies wasn't open 7 days a week like they are now either.
yeah,
It
things
was
had
like,
picked up in Nashville just overall.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Especially because even when I started too, whenever I started coming to Spanky's, that was after the divide or whatever. So there was
The East
Spanky's
Room,
was yeah, the East Room was going on. I think Bobby's was pretty regular. I think Springwater was going on at that point in time. Third
there
and
was a
Lindsley. Did you ever go to?
Rusty Nail. No, I never went to Third and Lindsley.
Bro, I went to Third and Lindsley twice before I started doing comedy, and just sat in the parking lot with my notebook and left twice.
We did do a benefit there one time for a guy with open heart surgery. Remember that? And he showed up. He had just got out of surgery, maybe 2 weeks, and there was a rock band there, and then they had comedians, And this guy, he shows up for his benefit, and he has a pillow on his chest because he's not. You cannot touch his chest. If somebody was dancing around in this rock band and hit this dude, hit him in the chest, it could stop his heart, or I don't know, maybe his chest pops open. I don't know, but you could. So he had a pillow over his chest the whole time, just in case somebody hit him.
Was he doing stand up? Was he a comic?
No, he was in a rock band,
Oh, it
and
seems like he
so
probably should have just stayed home.
yeah, but he wanted to be there for his benefit.
Wouldn't that be funny? Is you make enough money to cover the open heart surgery, and someone bumps him in the chest, he just
Kills him. This
we
all
did-
goes to a funeral now.
we reached our goal, and then he gets in the pit. He gets so excited. Yeah.
But they have a really high stage, right?
Yeah.
Third and Lindsley has
Yeah.
a really high stage.
It's a music venue.
Yeah. Like Vince Gill has a Monday night show there every week.
I'm not
Vince Gill and the Time Jumpers.
I'm not too sure who that is, Monty, if I'm gonna be honest with
Vince
you.
Gill?
Yeah, I don't think I know who that is.
He's like a country. Go rest high
What's he saying?
on that mountain. What's a good one? Eliza Jane. I don't know how that goes. But that Rest High on the Mountain, they play that at every funeral.
Is it this?
Go rest high
Can you see? Is it
on
this
that mountain.
this guy? Can you see that? Did that pull up for you?
Let me see. Yep.
That's Vince Gill.
Yep. He's
Bro-
fatter now.
Fat
but
as fuck,
yeah.
dude. He looks like a big fat slob.
Yeah, he used to be a skinny. He was always pale, but just skinnier.
Well,
Yeah, dude. He's like he's a veteran.
well,
Yeah, he's married to Amy Grant.
I don't know.
Christian lady.
I don't know who that is either.
Well,
I know those
Okay.
names, but I really don't know who they are. But that's cool. Nashville's the place to be. All the celebs are out and about. You know.
yeah. Did you hear the dog barking?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good. It's my three-legged dog.
What'd you do with that fourth leg, Monty?
I guess it's in the trash. I don't know. This has been our year, dude. 2021, this dog. 4th of July. He jumps out the truck window. He sees a chipmunk in the road. Jumps out the window.
While it's moving?
After this, yes,
Jesus.
like 40 miles an hour. He jumps out the window straight into a road sign. The only road sign on our road. He hits it. And it just shatters his femur. The back.
Oh
I
shit!
can't believe it didn't kill him. But this is a huge dog. He's 122 pounds. He was. He's lost. He's lost that leg now, so he's about 114. But so we pay $5,000. We want to get him fixed. You know, they're like, we can amputate the leg. And we end up taking him to Nashville, taking him to some big animal hospital. And we're like, can you fix the leg? And they're like, we'll try. And we're like, well, that's what we want. We want to keep him whole, you know? And about a month goes by. I can tell you exactly. It was Labor Day. It was Labor Day weekend. Take him outside. So 4th of July to Labor Day, we take him outside to pee, and he just goes down. And he starts crying, and he's crying more. He's in more pain than whenever he hit the sign. And we take him back to that hospital, and they said that the bone didn't calcify. It was just too many pieces. It exploded. It was too many pieces. And they said, we're going to have to cut the leg off. And they put rods and plates and screws and all that stuff in his leg the first time to try to keep it together. And it just didn't work. And so they cut the leg off, which, by the way, Joe, they charge you just as much to take parts out as they did to put them in. So 5,000 there, 5,000
Jesus.
take it off. And the doctor, whenever we went, whenever the doctor calls us after they amputated it, this doctor, he says this was the bloodiest surgery I have ever seen in my life. Like where the bone just separated. Uh, there was blood pockets. This is a word, blood pockets everywhere. So anyway, we get the leg
So
taken
they just
off.
chop off the leg and it like exploded?
I think as they're cutting into it, yeah, it's
Just
just they come into these
ugh.
pockets of blood and it just everywhere. But anyways, so we get the leg amputated, and he's doing good. You know, he's figuring it out. And this is the cool thing about dogs. He don't want you to feel sorry for him. He don't even care. He doesn't miss the leg. He just wants to play. He wants to run. You know, he don't care. He doesn't feel sorry for himself or nothing. It's great. So many people should learn from this dog. Doesn't feel sorry for himself, nothing. Just wants to play. Wants you to pet him. Wants you to rub his belly, you know? So, Halloween. It's been a holiday every time. Halloween. Goes outside to use the bathroom, goes down again. He can't stand on that one rear leg that he's got left. We take him to the hospital again. It's in the middle of the night. It's always in the middle of the night. And he has blown out his ACL in the only good leg that he has. Now, dogs don't have ACLs, but it's the equivalent of what an ACL is. So now we've got him. He's been in a sling since July. I have to take him, hold him by his rear in a sling to go pee and poop. And we go all over the yard, and he sniffs, finds rabbits and trails of rabbits, and I have to just try to keep up. This dog's like a this dog is the size of a human, and it's me trying to hold you back. It's like if I put you in a sling and you really wanted like some booty to lick.
Shit.
It's me trying to
Shit.
hold you back. It's me
Good
trying
luck.
to hold you back from getting that booty. And
Ain't gonna happen, dude. I know
right,
that. I know that.
yeah, we're both wore out by the time I take him to go potty. It is. We both come back in breathing heavy. But anyways, I think we've got him straightened out. We have spent since July though. We have spent it down here in the basement. We sleep on the floor
You
in a
do?
yeah, so we can be with him. He can't go up steps. So we can't go back upstairs to the bedroom yet. And that's where they used to sleep is, they got their own little beds next to the bed. But he can't go up steps. So I've got a mattress down here, and we have slept in the basement on the floor to be with him since July. It's we just I told the doctor, I said this is the most expensive free dog because this is a dog that my daughter had found on the side of the road and in a pouring rain, covered in mange. You could see his ribs. I mean, he was pitiful whenever we got him. I said, but this is the most expensive free dog I have ever had in my life. And the vet goes, there's no such thing as a free dog. So 13,000 for the ACL
Oh,
or
Jesus.
3,000 for the ACL surgery. So we got $13,000 in this dog.
And that's you.
But
That's not enough money to carry. You can't carry him up the stairs to your regular bed.
no, dude, he's like I'm telling you, he's 120 something
You're a
pounds.
strong man, Monty. You can lift up 120 pounds.
But it's not even that. It's you don't want him to hurt himself again. So he's not going to let you carry him he tries to do everything himself. He don't know uh, that he's supposed to be taking it easy. We have to give him like Valium
That's pretty
to keep
cool.
him calm.
You ever dip into
To keep
that?
him calm. Well, just so he don't hurt himself,
I know, but so you ever split one with him?
He needs every bit of it. He's so big. He takes like 2.5 twice a day just to keep him just a little bit sedated so he don't hurt himself. He's still a puppy, basically. He's 2 years old.
Oh
And
shit!
he just wants to play.
How do you know how old he is? If you found him on the road?
Because he was a puppy then. He was like a little
Okay,
puppy.
okay.
I got to pee again. Can we pause?
You're fine, Monty. Go pee.
Thanks.
I'll sit. Fucking goofball. Monty's a good friend of mine, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep the podcast going. Who gives a fuck? This is the first dude to take me under his wing as far as comedy goes and look out for me and make sure I was getting spots and taking me on the road and giving me extra time. Monty's a great man, and he's always looked out for me as far as comedy goes. So I have a great appreciation for him as a human being, but I love Monty Mitchell to death. I wish I don't think he put out any of his albums, but if you ever get a chance to see him, y'all should check him out if you're up in Nashville. Monty's just one of the best, one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. Great comedian, just generally a good person. As you can tell, invested fucking 13 grand in a fucking dog. I would have thrown that thing in the woods, you know.
What are you laughing about?
I was just keeping the podcast going and talking about how you're a great man, and if I were in your shoes and I had a dog that didn't have a leg that worked, I'd probably chuck it out in the woods. Bro, I ain't got 13 grand to spend on. Even if I lost my own leg, I wouldn't spend 13 grand to get it back.
Well, if it all come at once, nah, I'd still do it. But it didn't come all at once, you know? It was 5,000 here. It was 5,000 a month later, and then it was 3,000. So it's just, if it all come at, I'd still do it. You should see this guy's face. He's just adorable.
Yeah. I'm also surprised that more dogs don't jump out of windows. You know what I mean?
Well, he's been on 1,000 rides. Every time we go to the dump is the big day for them. All the smells, oh my God, they go berserk.
Do you
like whenever I start loading up trash into the truck, they go berserk. They love trash day. And he's probably been in the truck 1,000 times and he's never tried to jump out the window. You know, you never you used to not roll it down all the way because you didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah.
After a while, you know, I just never thought about it. For 2 years, he'd been riding in the truck and never jumped out. But this one day, he saw this chipmunk. I saw it. I didn't know that he saw it. But he was like looking out. Like, he was looking out the front just like we were. And he saw it and jumped out. When he hit that sign, you know, you ever hit a beer bottle on a road sign?
No, I
haven't.
I haven't.
Drive by.
No, I haven't done that.
It was so loud. It was so loud. I couldn't believe it didn't kill him. 40 miles an hour, he probably hit that sign. Just straight from the truck window right into the sign.
Yeah, and it was the back leg that got broken too. That's even stranger.
Well, that means he almost cleared the sign. Whenever just
barely.
Yeah. But the good thing was that's like the most meaty part. That's the meatiest part of him. That's like all the muscles and stuff.
Yeah, I suppose.
So,
yeah.
If he was going to hit anywhere, it'd be right there. You know, if it caught him in the middle or if it caught him up front, you know, it would have killed him.
Puncture some organs, some shit like that.
Well, and that was a thing too. Whenever we took him, I didn't think about this. We're just like, we knew the leg was broke, but they wanted to do X-rays over his whole body to make sure that he didn't. When you hit like that, you dislodge organs. You know, he can dislodge his lungs and everything just coming to a stop
Oh,
like that.
shit.
So they X-rayed his whole body, made sure his intestines were still, you know, in track and all that stuff. But just that kind of a jar will dislodge other shit inside.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. I mean, he's the toughest dog. Jesus.
It almost sounds like the vet was like when you go to get your oil changed and they're like, we could take care of this, but also we should check everything else because we'll tack on
Maybe.
we'll get you some new wiper blades, get you a
No,
new
but
blinker.
doesn't it make sense? You can have people in car wrecks that have their seatbelt on, but they hit so hard that it'll dislodge their organs and they'll die. They'll bleed out from the inside and not have anything on the outside.
Yeah,
Didn't hit nothing.
yeah. I don't think you should ever wear your seatbelt because it's very dangerous.
I think if you, yeah,
You're safer not wearing a seatbelt. That way you just fly out of the car rather than.
if you're I heard that like if you're a certain size, that it is more dangerous. That the seatbelt could hurt you more
It
if you're
could
like a
be.
little person. If you're a little person,
I also don't. I also don't think you should have to wear
a
one
skinny
if you
person.
don't want to.
No, it definitely shouldn't be a law.
It's a bullshit reason to pull people over. I think that's what that
Exactly.
is. Same thing with
Exactly.
yeah, texting is terrible, but I think it's kind of the same sort of thing. Whenever I was going up to Indy to do that weekend with Big J. I got pulled over. Where did they do Bonnaroo at, Monty?
Manchester.
Manchester. I tell you, I got pulled over in Manchester with a half ounce of weed on me.
Uh, was it Darren Bonnaroo?
No, I was driving up to Nashville on a Wednesday to stay the night in Nashville because I had to get up to Indy because I was going to be there for the weekend at Helium. But I'm going through Manchester and I see a cop. I'm in the right lane. I'm like 30 yards behind an 18-wheeler because I don't speed. I like to set the cruise and just chill. But I see the cop and he gets behind me and he pulls me over and he's like, you were texting. And I was like, I wasn't texting. Like I don't know how I had my sunglasses on too, but he's like, I saw you texting. It's like, I don't know how you could see my eyes when I had my sunglasses on and I saw you. But he smelled weed. I got put in the
What
back.
happened?
I probably got done smoking like 10 minutes ago. Plus I had a half ounce in my backpack. But he's talking and running his mouth the whole time, and I got out-of-state tags anyway. I still have Michigan tags. Haven't lived there since 2009, but you know how I do. Still got them. So he's like,
Lazy?
no, it's just part of it was I was moving around a bunch, but also when I was living in my van, I always figured that was a good out in case something did happen to where a cop was like, well, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You're living in your van. It's like, no, I'm just traveling. I do comedy.
Okay.
So that's
I
what I
see
was
that.
telling the dude. I was like, no, I'm just going up to Nashville. I'm going to Zanies, whatever. I'm doing a show. I wasn't, but I just knew if something happened, like that's a good point of contact. So we start talking about Zanies. Like, oh, I've been there, blah, blah, blah. And he's like,
Yeah.
you sure you weren't texting? I was like, I'm pretty sure I was not texting. Like I had my phone's in the passenger seat. Like I wasn't texting. He goes, well, I smell marijuana. And I was like, well, it's in my backpack. You know, like I'm not trying to fight him on it or anything like that. And he's like, well, how much is it? Is it just a little smoke sack? And I'm like, yeah, it's a smoke sack. He's like, well, how much is it? I'm like, it's a half ounce. So he puts me in the back of the cop car. He's like, you mind if I search your car? It's like, no, I mean, do what you got to do at this point. He didn't put me in cuffs, but he put me in the cop car. And I was like,
Yeah.
on the way out, I was like, do you want me to open my trunk for you? Because I knew he wasn't going to be able to get into it because the button doesn't work on the remote to like unlock it. And he's like, no, I'll get it. I'll get it taken care of. So he puts me in the back of the cop car and I'm watching him search through it, everything.
Is it in your van?
No, this
Or is
is the
the
Buick
Lumina?
at this point. Yeah, it's the Buick. Yeah,
Buick.
yeah.
Didn't
But
you have a Lumina?
I did. Zeb bought it. and then somebody stole the sunroof out of it.
Out of all things.
Yeah, so he bought it from me. Somebody stole the sunroof, and then it rained, so it ruined the whole fucking car.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, but I don't, dude. The cop was like in the back of the cop car. He's trying to get in the trunk. He can't get in the trunk, and I wish,
Told him.
I wish I could find like the dash cam footage of me in the back of the car because I'm like just
Was
laughing.
you laughing?
I was dying, Monty. I was dying in the back of that car. And he comes up, he gets in the truck, and then he comes around, he gets me out, and he's like, "All right, your keys are in the front seat. Go sit down. I'm gonna write you a warning."
Nice.
Like, for what? For weed? And then he didn't write me a warning or anything. He just came up and he's like, I don't care what people do at home, blah, 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 but when it's out on the street, it's my problem, and this and that and the other. He's like, where? And he let me keep it. He let me keep all my weed, the whole half ounce. He's like,
He's a
where?
great guy.
Yeah, yeah. But also, it was a thing where it was just like, I just was so over. As soon as he hit the lights, I was like, well, I'm going to jail. So I have to go.
Right.
It was my first weekend at Helium, too. Like, I've never worked Helium before. So I'm like going,
St.
okay,
Louis?
Indianapolis. So I'm like, I have to call these people and go, hey, I'm in jail. I can't come up. You know, I got to call my mom and let her know I'm in fucking jail and somewhere in fucking Tennessee or some shit like that. But he was cool as fuck and he let me keep my weed. But now I don't. Now I can't smoke when I drive because now I'm legit paranoid and concerned constantly. Yeah, it sucks.
That's me, and
it's ruined
I got
me.
I got a DUI in 2001, and to this day, still got me scared to death. I don't even like to have a beer if something happens and that's on your breath. And drinking and driving was the funnest thing you could ever do.
Hey, it still is.
I know it is. I just can't. I remember I used to work at a factory, and there was no air conditioning in the whole place. And it was me and another buddy. He lived close to me, and we'd carpool to work. And then after work, we would go get a 6-pack of Southpaw. It was like $3 a 6-pack.
What is Southpaw?
It's just a cheap,
like malt
beer.
Liquor?
Probably $3 for a 6-pack.
Like Steel Reserve kind of shit? Like high,
Yeah,
like 8.4%, but $2.50 a can or something?
yeah.
Ugh.
But I got to think that I'd probably been drinking and driving since I was 16 years old. And I got caught whenever I was 26, 27.
So you got a good run.
I had a good run. And that was totally coming to me, you know. But what we would do is just go down these country roads. And there was one that we'd go down on the creek. And it was in the middle of Jackson County. 7 knobs. And you just drive like 5 miles an hour, windows down. It was the music, whatever you wanted to play, you know. It was cassette tapes back then. And it was your own nightclub, you know. But the scenery kept changing. It was great. We'd go down to the end of the creek, turn around, come back. Just 5 miles an hour, drink beer, you know.
What was the speed limit?
I don't know. It was a dirt road.
Okay.
So
is that where you got pulled over?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got pulled over.
I thought you got pulled over for doing 5 miles an hour on a fucking road.
No, you would never see a cop down there. I got pulled over on the interstate. Coming back, I'd went with another buddy to pick up. It was the day after Christmas, 2000, and I went with another buddy to Soddy Daisy, Tennessee, to pick up his wife. His wife had been seeing her family for Christmas, and they were meeting back up. She was in Chattanooga, and they were meeting back up. And we drank all the way down to Soddy Daisy. We drank all the way back.
How far is the drive?
Uh, how far is Saudi Daisy? 2 hours.
Okay.
And then 2 hours back.
You get some work done there.
Oh my gosh. And so he drops me off or we get to his house and I'm going to my house, which is on the other end of the county. I have to take the interstate to get there. And I'm speeding. Like I hadn't even hit the interstate yet. I'm speeding on the on ramp. I had this really fast car, and the highway patrol, two of them were sitting at the end of the ramp, clocking traffic on the interstate. And here I come behind them on the on ramp, flying. And it took them a while to catch up with me, but it was all well deserved. You know, I deserved it. That night, I probably would have killed somebody. So,
You think you could outran him?
yeah,
Yeah.
but in that car, yeah, I could have. But
Did you go to jail?
yeah, I went to jail.
Hell
Got
yeah.
DUI.
Hell yeah. Did you fuck anybody while you were in there?
they they put me in a thing by myself. I was a crying mess.
Ah.
I was so drunk. I was a crying mess. But I finally
they
got
tow your
caught.
car too? That whole thing?
No, they didn't tow my car. I called my mom and I left it on the side of the interstate and it was still running. And there was two highway patrols, so one of them stayed with my car. And whenever my mom got there, it was still running. It's probably been an hour later. It was still running. And they just hopped in it and took it home. But it was well deserved, and I've been scared ever since then. I haven't drank and drove since.
Yeah. Drink and ride. You're a notorious drinker
Drink and ride. I am
rider.
a drinking rider.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember.
But
I think that was one of the first times that you kind of. I mean, you already liked me before, I guess, but whenever we go out to Jackson, where it's like anytime, whoever we went with, everybody had a DUI except me. So it was like, well, I'll take care of it, boys. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. But lesson learned.
Yeah. Well, thank God. Thank God you haven't gotten drunk and
I had a
drunk
good run.
in 20 years.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My buddy just
Wow.
he got like fuck, man, like maybe a month ago or something like that up in Flint. He's still up in Michigan, but he ended up going the wrong way on an on-ramp to get on the interstate. So he was going north on a southbound interstate. But he didn't hit anybody. I think
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him yet. I talked to him a little bit, but he had some other shit happen in his life, so that's what we were talking about. But I think what happened is he kind of snapped to and realized he was going the wrong way, and I think he kind of freaked out and flipped his fucking truck.
Oh.
So he didn't hit anybody or anything like that. So he wrecked his truck, and that's how he got busted or whatever. But I think he had a DUI from years ago too. Everybody I know has a DUI, just about.
Yeah.
But me.
Well, hopefully. Circumstances, that's the only one.
Yeah. It's definitely not worth it. You're in you're in Cookeville too, so it's like, it's smaller towns and shit like that. It's like you got to get home.
They know. Everybody knows each other though too.
Yeah.
And so yeah. And it's big money. A DUI is big money
Huge
for
money.
the county.
Mhm.
So that's what they look for, it seems like. They look for that. I don't know about now. I try to stay on. I don't hang out. I don't go to clubs and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Comedy clubs is it. So I don't know. Maybe they're looking for weed now. I don't know. They ain't looking for weed. Meth.
No,
Meth.
I think Tennessee. I think either like right around the time wherever I got pulled over early this year or something like that, Tennessee did something. Maybe it was Nashville, but Tennessee was like a half ounce and under is just a misdemeanor now or something like that. It's
Yeah.
decriminalized in Atlanta, not Georgia, just the city of Atlanta. It's decriminalized.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think DUIs is still big money here.
Yeah, of course it is. Good court
I think it
costs and
is everywhere.
everything. My sister got,
But
go ahead.
back to the seatbelt thing. That is the biggest bullshit law
It's
ever because
nonsense.
it doesn't hurt anybody but you.
Yeah. There are
That's it.
there are states that have seatbelt laws, but they don't require helmets for people who ride motorcycles. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where it's just like
That's another one.
it's a bullshit
I don't
reason to pull people over and then try and fuck with them in some other way. That's what it
and
is. Same thing with texting. Texting's terrible when you're driving, but all you have to do as far as a cop's perspective is to go, you were looking down, you were texting, so I pulled you over. You weren't wearing I didn't see
texting
your seatbelt.
texting I can see more. I can see more texting than I
Yeah,
can.
you're much more distracted. But I think about it from the sense of how the dude, when I got pulled over, all he had to do was say he pulled me over because I was texting. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That's all he had to do was say you were
Yep.
texting, even though I was. I don't text when I drive. I'll get drunk as fuck, bro. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna text.
I think
That's insanity.
I think texting is more dangerous than drinking and driving.
Uh, it is. It is. I mean,
I think so.
it probably depends who you're texting. You know.
But if you're drunk, at least your eyes never leave the road. Like you are trying to get home
Yeah, I
and
think.
your eyes never leave the road. You are more on point when you're
Yeah, yeah.
drinking.
Bro, I think the best thing to do is just relax. Because I think driving is mostly muscle memory. You know,
Yeah,
I think when people
yeah.
start thinking about it too much, that's when they get out of control.
Hmm.
But it's like, no, your body knows how to get home. If you take the same route all the time,
Yeah.
your body knows.
Well, think about that. Like you drove home from work and not even remember
Mm-hmm.
the way there.
Yeah, yeah,
You were thinking about 1,000 other
yeah.
things,
You're just
and
gone.
your muscle memory drove you home.
Yeah.
You don't even remember driving home.
Uh huh.
It's just automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is that? I mean, is spacing out more dangerous than texting, or is it on the same level? I space out like because especially like going on like on the road or
Going
whatever, driving for like 5 or 6 hours, and it's like,
going to a gig, you start going over your set,
yeah, start
what you want
riffing.
to do.
I love riffing when I'm
Yeah.
driving,
Oh, me
especially
too.
by myself. Like, yeah, I'll do my set out
Oh,
loud to myself. That's how I
I
write. Is what I
yeah,
found
me
out.
too.
That's
I
mostly
don't
in the
even.
shower or either driving. That's when I do my
It used
writing.
to be in the shower, but I can. A lot of times I don't turn on the radio.
Me
I might
neither.
drive for an hour,
Connor Larson
not
called me a
even.
sociopath or something like that because I don't. I'll not turn the radio on and drive for a long time.
Yeah,
He's like, that's
I can do
crazy.
that.
That's insane.
I've drove all the way to Florida without the radio ever being on.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And so what we would do, like on road shows, we'd probably drive all the way to a gig, not listen to the radio, but on the way back, we got it blared.
Yeah, because you feel
Or
good. You're having fun. Like, yeah.
especially like whenever I go to Nashville to do open mics, the whole hour down, no radio. And she'll sit over there when she used to go. She would just sit over there too, and we'd sit in silence, and I just think about what I'm going to do that night. But on the way back, after a few beers, we were singing at the top of our
Yeah, yeah,
lungs.
yeah.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama, just all of it. I've got a go-to playlist, but
Do you know how many people I've talked to Not I'm shitting on Connor or whatever, but I've talked to other people about like not having the radio on, and that it legit scares people.
I do that all the time though. Going to town,
Yeah, but
I don't. Can you hear this dog? Is it bad?
I can't hear that. You talking about Casey? Whoa, hey,
You said you're talking about Casey.
calm down. I didn't hear the dog. I heard Casey say something.
You heard Casey, but you can't hear this damn dog.
Yeah, of course.
He can hear you yelling at the dog, but he can't hear the dog.
Not really. I just heard her say something.
The dog's further away than Casey is.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe that makes sense.
That could be.
Still, Casey's not like. She's still like
Uh,
10 feet from me.
yeah. Well, she's got a lot of bass in her voice, you know.
She's got a lot of treble.
Treble.
Treble. It carries. And I think the dog, he's bassy.
The first podcast we did was with both y'all because you were driving somewhere to a gig, if I remember correctly, and you
And
had
it
your
was
phone in the
storming.
seat, storming like a motherfucker. Yeah, and we could.
Stormed
That's why I
bad,
couldn't
we
use that
couldn't hear
audio.
the
It
audio.
sounded like shit. Yeah.
It was storming so bad. And I feel I have been in, we went to so many shows. And we've been in so many storms. Oh my gosh. Hey! Hey! Oh, y'all, stop. The cat's in on it now. And
Causing a ruckus over there.
there is a ruckus.
Yeah. It's the first. Whenever I first got my van and I took it up to Michigan to get the plates switched,
Yeah.
I realized, looking back, I realized I had it was in Nashville. It would have been 2015, but like the night before there was like a snowstorm that hit Nashville. But I had to get up to Michigan for whatever reason. So I don't think it was registered, and I didn't have insurance on it.
Wow.
And I drove it through. It was snowing like a motherfucker in Tennessee, in Kentucky, in Ohio. And then once I got to Michigan, it was fine. But right as I was about to get out of Ohio, like 3 cars spun out right in front of me. And somehow I weaved through all 3 of them and just kept fucking going.
We did that coming
It's
back
insane.
from Miami, Oklahoma. It was
Jesus.
Valentine's Day, and it started snowing.
Were you doing a show? What
Yeah.
the fuck's in Miami?
It was a casino.
Oh, shit.
And by the time we got to Kentucky, it was weird. You had to go up through Kentucky to come back down, and we come back down. By the time it was snowing in Kentucky, but whenever we got to Tennessee, it was all ice, and there were wrecks everywhere. And it took us what, 12 hours to get home on a. It might have been longer than that because I feel like it was 12 hours to get out to Miami. It's a panhandle of Oklahoma. So all the way through. All right. Yeah. It might have took us like 15, 16 hours. And there were wrecks everywhere. But we've done that a lot. Going to Knoxville one time, we sat on the interstate for like 3 hours and never made it to the show. God, we've been through so many hailstorms.
It's
I
so
feel like Reed Timmer, like storm chasing. We've been through so many. And whenever I got this fancy car that I have now, I was in more hailstorms the first year that we had it than my little Saturn. I didn't care if it got beat the shit out of. But it hailed. Oh my God. We've been through so many damn storms. Snow, ice, hail.
it's funny, like, because Atlanta will shut down when it snows or whatever. It's just like coming from Michigan or whatever, where it's just like, I was in driver's training. My first day, like driving a car in driver's training, was like during a snowstorm, like wet, thick fucking snow, road slick as fuck, and I'm having to drive. And the dude who I was driving with, so there was like two students. I was one of them, and then the other dude was like legit off the boat from Africa. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Had never
Yeah.
like seen snow or anything like that. So I drive. I'm the first one. The guy's like, "You did great, good job," or everything. He's like, "Now it's your turn." We ended up in a fucking ditch with that kid. Like he spun out in a ditch. There's a Bible in the back seat. Rather than, you would think a driver's ed teacher would be like, "How about I handle this since we're in a ditch right now?" But rather than
Yeah.
do that, the guy just goes, "Hey, there's a Bible. Why don't you grab that and just start praying? Because I don't know if we're gonna make it out of this." Like, just some old dude. But even like people have, just when it snows. I remember when I was in DC. It never really snows in DC, but my first year there, it dumped like 2 feet overnight. So people just abandoned their cars on the interstate. They just left them. People got out and walked home. So it's like even after the snow melted, there's just a bunch of cars now that nobody knows what the fuck
Yeah.
to do with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Well, you know, in Tennessee too, whenever we got that ice that we drove through, and we've had it several times since, but nobody knows how to drive in
No,
snow or ice
no.
down here. Everybody's on their brakes,
It's the worst
and
thing you
that's
could
the
do.
first thing you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting there and we're driving behind them, and you're like, "Get off your brakes! Get
Yep.
off your brakes!"
Yep. That's all you got to do.
And we don't. I know that. I don't have a huge experience of driving in snow and
No.
stuff, but you know that.
You're not going to
Stay off
stop on it.
the
You're not going to
brakes.
stop on it at
It's
all.
gonna send you into the ditch. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna send you spinning.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna send you into the guy next to you. It's gonna. So we've been fortunate to make it through all those things, but it's amazing what happens to you on the road. I don't know how many 100,000 miles that I have. I know that we've drove
A lot.
2, 3. We've drove 3 cars into the ground going to shows.
Well, would you say 12 years you've been doing comedy for?
Yeah, I've drove 3 cars into the complete ground. Just shot transmissions, motors.
And it's
You
not.
know, they just eventually give out. Because I keep my shit. Your oil is the lifeblood of your car. And I keep all my oil change ups to date. And at the highlight of us doing every open mic, which I don't do anymore, but not turning nothing down, getting oil changes once a month.
Yeah.
You know, you're driving that much.
Because you're driving
And
3-hour round trip just to go into Nashville to do a set, to do a set.
It's 2. It's an hour there, an hour back.
Okay.
But yeah. Drive an hour to go do 5 minutes.
Yep.
Turn around and come back.
See,
And
that was something I thought about a lot last year, just when everything shut down, about how much time you invest in driving and then sitting. Because you think, okay, let's say we're talking about Spanky's on a Tuesday in Nashville, right?
Jesus, right.
You drive an hour to get there, and you get there maybe 45 minutes, an hour early before it starts. And then it's a
3 hour.
3 hour, 4 hour, whatever. So there's 5 hours for 5 minutes plus the hour back. So you invested 6 hours of time to do 5 minutes to not get paid, to not get nothing. But it's what you got to do if you want to figure out how to do this shit, you know.
And I loved every minute of it.
Me too.
I look forward to it. If I didn't get to go on Tuesday, I was genuinely upset, and it ruined my week. But you do it. I start getting really excited on Monday, and by Tuesday, I couldn't eat all day long. So excited to go do the open mic that night.
Yeah.
And it was an event. It was a big deal.
I'm sure back because
And
before I started, whenever Spanky's was the only thing in town, and y'all had 40 motherfuckers in there or whatever, and
yeah,
you were going till one, or you start at 8 and you're going till 1 in the morning or something like that.
yeah.
It's like
And you
I
get
wish I could have
all
been around for
kinds,
that.
you get all kinds of people coming in trying to do comedy, you know. So you would see everything, the first timers to somebody like you that actually made it work. But you would have the guy that come in and it was just his lifelong dream to do stand up,
Yeah,
and he does it one time, and that's it. He was good. He was good with it. It was
yeah,
a bucket thing maybe,
yeah,
and you never see that guy again.
and also
But
it's
you had all those people.
the realization of what doing comedy is too, where it's like, this is what it is? It's a bar on a
Yeah,
Tuesday, and it's like I don't really want to do this,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. A smoke-filled room.
Yeah. I loved it. That's whenever I
I did
started,
too.
they didn't have a host at Spanky's when I started. It was a rotating host.
That's right.
And then somebody didn't show up and I was like, "Well, I'll host." And then I just
Yep,
kept doing it and they were like, "Do you just want to host it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it over
yep.
for sure." Yeah. So that was the move. That was, that was guaranteed, especially as a host, you know what I mean? So you can do time between everybody. You do time up top. You can do pretty much whatever you
So yeah,
want.
that's whenever they asked me to do it. That's how I looked at it, is that I can do time in between, and I would do time in between everybody. So it lasted even longer whenever
Yeah.
I hosted.
Yeah. And it's like,
But I'm going to capitalize. If you're going to make me host, I'm going to capitalize on
yeah, yeah. Trying to play off other people's jokes, whatever it is.
it. Yep,
You got pee again?
yep.
Is that what you're doing?
Oh, no, well,
Okay, well you stood up.
I no, I was going to get another, but now you bring it up.
Another seltzer.
Now you put it in my head.
Okay.
You got to go yet?
I'll go pee again.
All right, let's do it.
Let's take a piss break.
All right.
Just gonna title this one the piss break. I think I peed a little on myself.
No, I'm good
Well,
this time.
little sprinkle sprackle.
I beat you back this time too.
Barely,
Barely.
barely. You talking shit? We've been having such a good time. Why you gotta start talking shit now, Monty? Motherfucker. You worried about the new variant of COVID, Monty?
Nope.
No? Good.
Oh.
Good. I
I've
tried
been
to.
working on I've been working on that bus since all this happened, in the closed bus, and I take my vitamins, do my exercise,
Yeah.
and oh, Joe, I did get the vaccine though.
I know you did.
I had to go see my granddaddy. He turned 101,
Oh, shit.
and so I did go get it before I went and seen him. I don't know. You still gonna get it, right?
I guess so. I don't know.
I don't want to get into this.
I've been
I don't
chilling.
want to, Joe.
I've been fine the whole time.
I meant,
I've been sick in 2 years, but also I know I've been doing a lot different as far as just diet and exercise and everything like that. And then that didn't have
yeah.
anything to do with like, oh, I want to do this because of COVID. It just last
No.
year, just sitting by myself, was like, I just need to change how I'm living a little bit, you know?
Well, whenever I turned 46, I think it was, I went to the doctor for my yearly checkup, and they said that my cholesterol was borderline. And so I tried to start changing my diet then, because before I was eating like dumpster. I'd eat anything and everything. I didn't care, didn't think twice about it. But I changed stuff a little bit, just a
Yeah.
little bit, not much, and then started exercising, and it's not started exercising just to look better, because I was the worst kind. I was skinny fat, So, like skinny arms, skinny legs, but had a belly. That, you know,
I've never
just
seen
a
you with a
belly.
belly. I've always known you as
I had a
just
belly.
a
I
skinny
had a
fella.
belly. And, but I was skinny too. I've always been skinny. So, like 45. So I guess it was 3 years ago. 45, started working out, exercising, started watching what I ate a little bit, and still smoking cigarettes and drinking, but maybe I'll cancel some of that out. And Granddaddy's 101, so I think I've got some good genes somewheres that'll, who knows, Joe?
Just
Why not just go ahead,
roll the dice,
just
man.
live,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
live,
yeah.
dude.
That was
Look at the dude of Atkins diet, slipped on a patch of ice, busted his head wide open, and died. You know,
yeah, yeah,
that guy, that guy lived right the whole, I don't know, but just fucking live and have fun.
yeah. That was the thing. Even last year, whenever I went home, it's like my grandma, my grandpa. It was like we're not gonna not see you. We're not gonna not hug you. We're not gonna not be in your presence. You know what I mean? Like we're not playing that shit where we're gonna look at each other through a fucking window. You know what I mean?
Well, my dad's been like that.
Oh
Just that
man.
he wouldn't hug us. When Granddaddy turned 100, he did. Granddaddy, we did have to do it through the glass of the retirement home. He couldn't come out.
If he's in a place,
But like
yeah.
I was in the sunshine with my dad, and he is one of those that wouldn't hug, never took off his face mask, and it's fine. He's legit worried, but I feel like you're gonna miss out at least a year of your life if you're
Yeah.
gonna. It's
Yeah.
like either you're gonna get it or you ain't, and you can't stop living.
And
You know.
somebody it was on some podcast, I can't remember who it was or who I was listening to or something like that, but it's like, you know, let's say your parents are in their 80s. Ideally they have 20 years of life left, let's say. But maybe you only see them twice a year. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
realistically, you're seeing your parents 40 times for the rest of their life.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like what
Yeah.
how are you going to spend that time with them? Are you going to look through a fucking window? My family just is that way anyway. They're just like they just don't they're like, "No, we ain't playing this shit. Like we're nah. No, there's no
My
way."
mom's side, my mom's side is my dad's side. They've been Some of my sisters on my dad's side have been uh, more precaution,
Yeah.
but my sisters on from my mom, we've all been just, you can't live in a cave. But I get it. I mean, if you're legit worried about it, what are you gonna do?
If you are, but I think a lot of people worry about nothing to begin with anyway.
I do too. I think you need more problems. You need
Yeah.
people who have good, stable lives. When something like this comes along, it freaks them the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
you
people are
you've
just
got
on edge
you've
anyway.
you need to be like a comedian and not know what the next day is going to be. Are you going to have a gig? What's going to happen at that gig? Because you can get a show out of nowhere just that day, and can't say no. I'm not going to say no. I'm going. We were doing basement shows.
I was trying to
Uh,
do that too. The week of when everything started to shut down last year, I was trying to do a show in the apartment. We were going to live stream and have like 6 audience members, but all the
yeah, we
comic
had like 8.
they said
We had 8.
all the comics that said they'd do it, they bailed.
Now we were
They
doing
all
these.
fucking bailed.
We were
Pussies.
doing. It was 8 comics, and we kept doing it during um, from like March to June. And I don't know if I should be bragging about this or what. I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying. But we kept our shit going. We kept writing
Yeah.
jokes, and we would tell it to each other. And we had a lot of fun because we're in somebody's house in their basement and we could give shit and talk shit that you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
Uh, we had a great time. I belly laughed so hard during those shows. And we did it once a week. It was on a Tuesday, just like Spanky's, just like everything else, all of the open mics that we did on a Tuesday and we kept. And I honestly, no, it wasn't March. We didn't do it till May, maybe middle of April.
You took like a
And it
month
felt,
off.
yeah, and it felt so good just to drive back to Nashville because the bus had shut down. Everybody's side jobs
Uh-huh.
in comedy had shut down too.
Everything.
If
Everything.
you were a substitute teacher, if you was a waiter,
Mm-hmm.
all that shit shut
Mm-hmm.
down. And so I remember it was like probably a month and a half that we hadn't done nothing. And just to drive to Nashville to do this first show in a basement. And then it felt so good. I mean, the endorphins were just popping out the top of my head from this high of just doing the drive, that long ass drive. I've never bitched about that drive, but for everything to see just a little bit normal. I only lasted a month and a half. There's some people that still locked up. Some
Yeah.
people wrote it out for a year. I don't know how you did it. I don't know how they did it. I absolutely, a month and a half, I was stir crazy.
Yeah. Some people were happy about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like, "Oh, this is all I've ever wanted is to not ever be around anybody." And it's
Yep.
like, "Well, how about fuck you?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Like
I
who
I know some comedians that were like that.
Yeah, for
And like,
sure. That's mostly that's who I'm referring to. Those are the only people I know anyway.
yeah.
But they're all cowards to begin with, you know what I mean? They don't take a chance with nothing.
Oh, I
Just
I
in
I'm not.
life in general. That was the thing is like I still haven't thought it. I still won't take it seriously or make it a big deal. And I haven't told it, but I've tried to work on a joke about it. How it's like everyone who's has freaked out or told me that like COVID is something to worry about are the same people who freak out when I drink tap water. You know what I mean? Like they're like, "Oh my god, you're drinking tap water? What are you doing?" And it's like, "Well, I'm
Yeah.
thirsty. Like what the fuck? I'm not worried about it." You know what I mean? And it's like, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
So it's the same fucking people.
I know. And I try not to say anything about those people because it's a legit, that's their life.
Yeah, if you want yeah, if
But
you
it's not mine,
be a pussy.
but they want to throw their views on me.
Yes. And go, "Oh, you don't care
It's the
about
same
people?"
people.
And go,
Yeah.
"No, I don't. As a matter of fact, actually, I don't really care about people that much. How about that?"
Well, how about this is that chances are you're not going to die. How about that?
There's a good chance of it.
There's a way better
You know,
chance.
I mean, you're gonna die regardless. You know what I mean?
Right.
But would you rather spend? Let's say you do. Let's say you get COVID and you die. It's like, would you rather have never hugged your mom or your dad? You know what I mean?
Right.
In the past
Yeah.
2 years, you never had physical contact with anybody, and you end up dead or
I
they
couldn't
end
do
up
that.
dead. I could never. No,
I couldn't do that.
no. That's like everyone started doing the fist bump thing. It's like just if we're gonna fist bump, just give me a fucking hug. Like, what's the difference? You guys like this now? We're just splitting hairs at this point. We could touch fists, and that's safer than just hugging. You know what I mean? It's not.
I I at shows, if somebody wanted to hug, somebody wanted to handshake, I was all about it.
Still, yeah,
Especially during this time, somebody somebody appreciated your performance that much that they're going to risk, you
death.
know? Yeah, to touch you. What a compliment, right?
Yeah, yeah. My life did not. I know.
Or
My
maybe they just don't give a fuck about anybody, but to me I took it as a compliment.
Yeah, my life never stopped. I know that. I was still out
Yeah.
doing my
That's what I was
thing
trying.
always. eating
That's what I
ass,
was
doing
trying.
shows, whatever the fuck I was doing. Didn't stop
Yeah,
ever.
that's what I tried. Yep.
It's the liberals, Monty.
I'm
They're
gonna.
they're trying to destroy America. I'm half joking, but it's kind of there's some truth in that too, man. All these fucking pussies who are just afraid of every goddamn thing. It's like fuck off, man. I don't use. I've never used hand sanitizer. I'm not going to start now. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm fine. I'm bulletproof. I ain't got no germs are going to bug me.
And there's something to be said about that. Like whenever mom started using all the hand sanitizer on kids, is whenever they started getting sicker
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever?
because you're not building it up.
Yeah. There's the old Carlin joke. You know the Carlin joke where he's like, he's like, you have an immune system, but your immune system needs practice. It needs germs to practice on. So if you
It's
just
got to
live,
work
if you
out.
live a sterile life, if everything you do is sterile, you're gonna get sick as soon as something comes along.
Yep.
And that was his whole thing. He's like, what do you think if you just wash your hands all the time and live a clean life? What do you think is going to happen when some super virus comes along? He goes, it's going to turn your vital organs into liquid shit and you're going to die because you deserve it.
I do wash my hands a lot. I just can't stand grime. Like if I work on a car,
Well, that's
I might
different.
wash I might wash my hands 3 times before I get done. I just don't like shit on my hands. But
That's
no, like
different. You fucking grabbing
whenever
a
I come
tissue to
home,
turn a doorknob?
whenever I come home at night for the night, I'll go wash my hands. I don't know. I feel like the day, you can feel the day on your hands. I can't. So whenever I come home at night, I do wash my hands. I don't know what that is. I can't.
I'll wash my hands if I'm at somebody else's house. Other than that, nah.
But I've never stopped. You know, I don't. I'm not gonna stop living.
You can't. You can't. Or you, I mean, or you can. People, a lot of people, I feel like aren't living anyway. You know what I mean? People
Right.
are alive, but the people don't. People aren't taking full advantage of what life is and trying to experience it. People want to be safe, and its safety is an illusion anyway. You know what I mean? Like we are there. As soon as your death certificate is signed, just being alive. You know what I mean? So whether
Yeah.
it's COVID or a car wreck or something like that, but it's like you can't. I
What's
don't think you
weird,
can't live in fear. You can't. That's not
right?
living, man. You can't.
What's weird is that my dad, that I've said so much about, is the one that has lived life to the fullest. Also, they've lived in Costa Rica. He's lived there. He's lived in California, New Jersey. He's traveled. They love to travel. Um, and he's taught me, to where my mom has been very quiet, just to stay home. Uh, they vacation in Florida, the same spot, couple of spots, there. But my dad's been all over the place. But during all this, he's the one that shut down. And my mom, who doesn't do much, she's never left the town that she was born in.
Yeah.
She's never lived anywhere else. She has also been the one though she'd wear a mask if you made her, but she'd rather not. My parents are 68 years old now, 67 during all this. And it's so funny how my parents ever got together. I'll never know because they are so completely opposite
I
of
feel
each
the
other.
same way about mine too.
Yeah,
They're not
but
together anymore, but it's like I don't know how you
mine
all
ain't either.
ended up together anyway.
Yeah,
Like I
but
really don't.
yeah. So like you can picture my mom is the right, my dad is the left.
Okay.
And so whatever, everybody knows that person. Everybody knows during all this, where that person stands and where that person stands, and that's what it's been.
Yeah, it's become that. Yeah, it's people are attached to the ideas, and they got to do what it's. I don't know. It's become so political
I
that
don't
it's
know
like
either.
if you vote
I
a
don't
certain way,
understand.
you have to view health a certain way.
You have to posture this way.
Yeah, and people put all their eggs in one basket too, especially with all that shit last year. Where now it's like, well, now you can't go back, and almost it's like I feel like part of me feels like
This
the
is the thing, though,
people getting the
that I don't
vaccine
care
is
what
less.
side that you're on. Is like, how do you shouldn't you don't agree 100% with what anybody says anytime. I don't care if you're
No,
married to them or that's your political belief. So how did this ever get so out of whack that we're just,
it's Trump.
that it, but even
He
you don't
was
believe, yeah, but everybody wasn't 100% on everything that he said. And just like now, you can't be you can vote for Biden, but not be 100% on everything that happens,
no,
right?
but I
You're not a human if you're 100% behind somebody all the time.
I think people are that way where they just blindly go into it, and that's the thing. I think with the vaccine was like if you got getting the vaccine to a lot of people, I think means that you were taking a stand against Donald Trump in some way and
I
what
do
he
too.
stood for or whatever it is.
I
You know
do
what I
too.
mean? A lot because even now you can see it. People are like,
You can see it in that the medicine. Like if he mentioned ivermectin,
yep.
then people wouldn't get it
And,
if they hated him.
and even before, if up until when he was still president, you know what I mean? Everyone was like, "Well, I'm not going to get
And
the
the
I'm
chloroquine,
not going to get the Trump vaccine. If
right,
Donald Trump comes out with a vaccine, I'm not going to get it." But as soon as
right.
he's out of office,
But
it's like,
anything that he mentioned, those people would rather die
yeah,
than to get that.
he's
They would.
and now it's the
But doctors ask. Doctors would ask because that's how it shouldn't have never got here.
it's it's no,
But the thing is,
it's such a
it's
polarizing
always,
thing, man. It's so interesting just to see how we live and
but
how
it's
people think now. We're doomed. We're all doomed because
no, but
everyone's an idiot.
we did this with the Spanish flu. They were anti-maskers back then. We have not changed
Mm-mm.
one bit. Human nature is
No,
human nature.
no.
They were anti-maskers back then, just like they are today. Whenever it all first started, they absolutely refused, and I don't know if it was political, but there's always been. I just don't know that the communication where we're all so connected now to everything. I think there's always been
Uh-huh.
people that hate whatever president is in office. They've just not been able to organize and come together like they are now. I don't know. I ho- I don't know. I really do think that there's more of a voice for everybody, and you're able to. I don't know. Joe, I'll be honest. I don't think it's as bad as what the news says it is. It's just a few people on the left or the right that make a little bit of waves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's who they follow.
Yeah,
I think most people are in the middle, and most people do love each other.
for the most part, or they try to, or maybe they don't. But you can look past it. You don't have to agree with everybody. But it is the most extreme people are the loudest, as they always are. You know,
Yeah,
and I do.
but I have heard of people defriending other people because they posted something, and I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
so much bigger. We're so much bigger than politics. Golly.
I've definitely I have done that, but it's not people I know. You know what I mean? Because it's like most of like the Facebook shit. Because comedy without Facebook, as far as like the level that we're at, like comedy, we need Facebook to do comedy in different places. So you're friends with a bunch of people you don't know, and people just say ignorant,
Oh,
hateful
I
shit
know
on
what you're
both
talking
sides.
about.
So it's like I just don't want to keep seeing this shit. You live in
I
fucking
know.
Oakland, California. I've never really met you. We maybe did a show once together like 8 years ago or whatever it is, but I just don't need you. I don't need you in my life at all.
Pessimism. I
Yeah.
don't care which side. If you're completely just everything's going to hell and you hate this person, it's always, it's always the world is awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
These people are awful. This is awful.
Yep.
I don't want
Yeah.
to see your
It's
shit.
not you. You're not the awful person. It's everybody else.
Yeah.
It can't
I
possibly
don't
be
I don't
you sitting there seething by yourself saying hateful things on the internet all day. It's everybody else that's a piece of shit. It's not you ever.
no. Yeah.
And that's
Those
just
people. You're right. I've blocked those. I've blocked a couple.
some of them, but especially I don't know, especially with comedy too, because as far as comics go, there's we want to be liked. You know what I mean? That's a part of what
Yep.
we do is being on stage and being liked, but
Yep.
they'll just say, I don't know. I can't stand any of it. I think everyone's just retarded at this point in time. I think
I wish.
everyone's lost their goddamn mind. I think people panic really easy. People in America
You know
always
what?
have
You know what we
anyway.
need? You know what we need is an alien invasion.
Ronald Reagan
We
said
need
that.
something that we need something that ever really?
Yeah, he said that in the 80s.
We need something that we can all get
That's
behind.
what Ronald Reagan
And
said.
really,
Yeah, 100% he said that. He's like,
see,
I
so it's
imagine what would
always
happen if there was some, but that's where it
history. We
gets,
don't change. We don't
that's,
change.
yes, but that's where it gets weird because all of a sudden the aliens do invade or they do show up, but it's like, but are they really aliens or is this some governmental shit going on? Because it's already. I'll send you the speech sometime. But Ronald Reagan, he's like, I wonder what would happen if there was like an extraterrestrial threat to the country and we all came together. You know what I mean? And that was
That's what we
fucking
need.
40 years ago. It won't happen. It won't happen.
Or do we need a giant war? A world war for everybody to come back together.
Well, it would be an interplanetary war at this point. But I think everyone's so divided anyway, just with the internet and shit, that I don't think that would help any.
Uh,
What
do
do you
you think?
think? So okay, let's say aliens showed up
Well,
tomorrow. What do you
we all
think? What do you
know.
think people are
We
going to
all
do?
know. You send in. You divide and conquer.
Yes,
And so
keep the poor
is
people
it
fighting
other
against each other.
is it other countries that are setting stuff on Twitter and Facebook
Yes.
and setting these fake stories to
Mm-hmm.
divide us
Yes,
from the inside?
but also, it's our own country that does it too. That's what the CIA is for. It's for misinformation and disinformation. That's what they've been doing forever.
To
They've,
us?
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
To their own people?
yeah. How else do you
I
keep
can't get
people?
behind that, Joe.
You don't think that? You don't think the
I don't think
CIA?
your own government. Why would your own government divide its population?
How else do you stay in power? If the people,
Really?
if everyone comes together and realize that you're bullshitting them, which they
Why are
have
they
been,
bullshit? No, what are they bullshitting? Why would you do? What are you bullshitting about? If your thing is to CIA take care of the country, why would they
no,
divide
the
it?
CIA is not supposed to take, the CIA is not supposed to operate in the country at all. The CIA is supposed to be, the FBI is what takes care of America as far as like an intelligence agency. The CIA is supposed to be for foreign countries and foreign governments.
Okay.
But they're definitely there's
You
a
know, at this point, I hope then they're doing to other countries what I feel like that these countries are doing to us, keeping us divided, making fake stories.
bro, we do that. Our country does that.
I know
Every major
the news
media,
does
yeah,
it.
they completely keep us divided.
It's
All you
not.
got to do
There's
is
no
look at
integrity
CNN
anymore.
and Fox and go, you have the same story, but they're two completely different
Oh my
perspectives.
gosh,
You know
I
what I
love
mean?
watching that.
So
I love watching
yeah,
it. Do
so
you ever watch both and
yeah,
see the
I
spin?
used to. I used to a
See the
bunch.
spin that they
Uh-huh.
put on it?
Yeah. It's
It's
not good.
incredible.
It's not good. That's what I'm saying. And that's in,
They'll take the same news story, and by the time you watch it, Rittenhouse,
is a good guy depending on who you listen to, or the
oh
worst
my
person,
God,
or the worst
or the
person
worst
in the
person
world.
ever. And the bad thing is, it's
George Floyd, the
I
same
know what.
thing. Like they do it with every Donald Trump, Joe Biden. They do it with everybody. Joe Rogan, Justin Bieber. They do it. They do it with everybody, man.
I don't think Joe Rogan. I think he's about as
Yeah, but
honest as it can
it
be.
depends who's talking about him, though.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
whole thing with the ivermectin thing, where
yep.
it depends what channel you have it on. You're gonna get different information. And that's not coming
Oh,
from Russia. That's not coming from China. That's our own
no,
fucking
you're
bullshit.
right.
Because people are trying, you know.
You remember whenever there was like always the rumor of Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe had an affair,
No, they
and they
definitely
didn't
did.
talk about it. They didn't talk about it. That was never in a newspaper. That wasn't a news story. That
Yeah,
wasn't nothing.
yeah.
That came out decades later in somebody's gossip thing. What happened to those days whenever we keep our trash within the family and you don't let the whole world know? Of course, then you become like China or or North Korea, I guess, maybe. But
I
we
don't
don't have
think
to be
so.
completely transparent about everything, and there don't have to be a news story for every goddamn president or the royal family or any of that. I don't care.
Well, now, we live in a 24-hour news cycle, so you have to fill 24 hours. That's the same thing. Remember, you remember like Sports Center in the 90s when it was like Stuart Scott and Rich Eisen? When they did
No.
Sports Center and it was an hour and they tape the hour and they just replay that hour throughout the day.
Oh
But
yeah.
now you have to fill 24 different hours of content throughout the whole. So that's why you get Stephen A. Smith just running his fucking mouth, yelling about nothing. Doesn't know what he's talking about. Are you about to take a piss?
Oh, I'm getting heck serious.
Oh. But it's just, people love content. And people also, we're so stupid. I think as far as America goes, we just like to hear about who's fucking who. And I hate that shit. It's high school shit. You even in
It started
comedy,
off.
they
It started off. That was the Inquirer. The Inquirer started that, and that would
the
never
bat
make the
boy shit.
news. That would never make the news. That wasn't news stories.
No,
They had, but now that's news.
but people
That's
are
6 o'clock. That's 6 o'clock news.
people are obsessed with it. I remember when I first moved to Atlanta, nobody knew anything about me, but people had no issue asking me questions about who I was fucking. Be like, are you fucking that person? It's like, you don't, where am I? You don't know where I'm
Funny.
from. You don't know my birthday. You don't know anything about me, but you have no issues asking, who am I fucking? And
Yeah.
it's just it's not good. We become obsessed with mundane shit.
There's not enough going on, buddy.
There's plenty going on.
The world. The world. Is the world stable?
No.
Like we're having to make up shit?
Well, whether or not we have to, we definitely are. That's all. That's all. Everything.
No, but
Social.
are we? We're not in a war. I mean, we've pulled out of Afghanistan. There's not a war on drugs like the 80s with. There's no
There's a
turmoil.
war on your mind. Infowars, baby. Check it out.
I mean, there's poor people and there's third world countries and there's governments that's taking advantage of their people, but that's always been.
That's all they do.
That's always been.
That's what they're doing now. That's why people have suffered these past 2 years, but some people have become billionaires out of this shit. You know what I mean? How?
Yeah.
How?
Bezos.
And
I mean,
why? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he already had that in place. It was just perfect, you know, perfect. He is already
Him,
doing.
Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, even Fauci, that little fucking wormy looking motherfucker. It's like, bro, I don't trust none of these people. I know that. I don't trust any of them. I just order. That's where I still order shit from Amazon.
What
It's
you
so
have to.
it's so cheap. Yeah, at this point, yeah, the stores don't have anything.
Walmart's good. I signed up for the Walmart Plus. Now I don't have any shipping cost, and I can get delivery. No, no minimum. Probably hurting the environment. Somebody will say that.
Yeah, it probably is. It is one way or another.
It would be something I'd run to the store for anyways. Why not employ somebody to do that though? I'm a fucking hero, Joe.
Yeah, you're saving everybody. Captain Planet over here.
I'm employing people. I don't, you know, sure they're driving their car to come bring me a toaster strudel, but
Just one.
I employed them. You know, I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. Nobody's ever wrong. Everyone's always right. I don't know. I don't know. I think the next couple years are going to be very, very interesting. I don't see this shit ending that well. I really don't.
Well, here's the thing,
It's already not.
right?
Have you seen, like, especially in California, like San Francisco especially, where it's just like people at this point are just going into stores and just robbing shit because no one's there to stop them.
Well, in Seattle, they decriminalized theft up to like $1,200, and so you can go in there and just. Do you know how much you can steal
Twelve hundred
before
dollars
twelve
worth.
hundred dollars
Yeah,
is a thing?
yeah,
You can go into Walmart and fill up 2, 3 shopping carts
yeah. You
and
take
not hit $1,200 and just stroll the fuck out.
Yep. Get 3 TVs. As long as you don't get a fourth, you're fine.
And the cops will not investigate it. And there was like a documentary about Seattle. This bicycle company had been there since the 80s, and now they're getting robbed weekly of their bicycles, and they're moving out, and they're
Yeah.
moving out in droves. Uh, is that the same one that legalized everything? Meth, heroin. Is that Seattle?
I know.
Or is that port?
I know Seattle has like clean injection clinics where if you're a junkie, like if you have a heroin problem, they have facilities where you can go get a little bit of heroin to get you through your day. And the homeless is very welcome there too, like just being homeless or whatever. I don't know.
Well, and that's California too, right? Where
Yeah, I think it's the West Coast
they're
mostly.
welcome. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. San Francisco
that
especially.
that is that bleeding where you want to save everybody, but you can't. Like,
But also you have no plan for them either.
you're right.
Wait,
You can't.
what are you gonna do?
It, it's mental health is a lot of these people
A
on the
lot of it
street,
is,
probably
yeah,
99.
yeah,
Where do you have to stop that before it gets to the point of them. We've met we know people that like being homeless, that are mentally, they can't handle structure, everyday life,
yeah,
and being homeless
yeah. I
and being
understand.
off of that.
I understand them in some aspect. I definitely
And
do.
is that might not be mental. That might be just a big fuck you to society.
It's probably it's both. It's somewhere in between, man. People got fucking problems.
I
I
gotta
know
pee
that.
again.
I know that. Go pee again. And then we'll wrap this up, but we can keep talking. It's just strange. I remember living in my van out in Seattle, and I saw homeless people having more shit than I did. It's fucking crazy. People had fucking palaces under overpasses, and I was in my van going, "What the fuck are these people doing?" Had grills, bicycles, beds, everything. It's fucking fascinating. What a weird time to be alive. I hope we figure out a way out of this, but I don't think we will. Maybe the way out is VR. Maybe we all just live in the metaverse and pretend that everything's okay, even though it's not. Maybe that's what we do from here on out. I don't know. Here's Monty back.
I got my I call them my Roadhouse sweatpants on. You remember whenever Patrick Swayze's doing his
I've never seen Row House.
All
Oh, sorry, buddy. Sorry. Holy shit.
We're gonna have to. He's never seen Roadhouse, so I guess we're not friends anymore.
Maybe we were never friends to begin with.
How you've never seen Roadhouse? Every time it's on.
What is it on?
Casey never saw Roadhouse in like 20, 30 years of her being on this earth, and she gets with me, and she's seen Roadhouse at least 12 times now. Yeah. 1,200.
Well.
All right, Joe.
I mean, I just haven't seen it. I've probably seen Jackass the movie about 100 times. That's my Roadhouse. I still watch movies, Monty.
You just don't?
I don't really. No. I watched a documentary last night about how the effects of social media and cell phones are having on kids and shit like that. But I don't really watch movies. I watched some Christmas movie a couple weeks ago too. I forget. It wasn't good.
So the cell phone thing, you know, we just adapt, right? We adapt.
Are we? Are we adapting, or is it breaking us? I feel like it's breaking everybody.
No, I feel like we'll evolve because it's not going away.
No,
so the body will evolve.
It's the metaverse.
Your eyeballs will evolve. You know, the blue screen.
They're not, though.
Blindness that people. It's not going to happen this generation. It just happened. You got to give it 2 or 3 generations, and then everybody's eyeballs will be like cone shaped. It's like a cone.
But will they only be able to look at screens at that point?
I'm just saying that it's not gonna. Whatever they talk about, this blue screen blindness or it's hurting everybody's eyes, we'll adapt. It ain't gonna happen our generation.
No, but yeah. But still, that shit does something.
It's not going away.
To your brain,
technology.
Though. It's not just your eyes. It's what it's doing to your brain.
It's just going to rewire it. You know how it's already happening with kids that are like 2, 3 years old. Have you seen them be able to go through somebody's phone? They can pull up YouTube and they can go exactly to a video that they want to watch of a kid unwrapping toys or whatever it is. They can find it.
But
they can find it.
Yes. But there's
not knowing how to read or write or anything.
There's a weird disconnect they have from like life though. You know what I mean? You can look in people's eyes and you can see it's like, "Oh, you're not fully a human."
Yeah, but that's not everybody. That's probably been all through life. If it's not books that you know that person that was completely involved in books, that's not life either. That's not, it's just we have screens now, and so that's different. And you have people, you can step away from a screen. I can step away from a screen.
Can you though?
But there are people that can't.
Yeah.
I can. I can go all day with not looking at Facebook.
I can
I can go
too.
right now. I can go right now and tell you I've got about 300 emails that I haven't checked since Thanksgiving. I
Well,
didn't want to look at it over the weekend. I don't care. I can totally. I don't care. I tell you what I have a problem with right now is Call of Duty. I'm so into Call of Duty.
probably thinking about getting. I think been thinking about playing, getting back into. I haven't played Call of Duty since like 2007, probably.
Yeah, it was me too.
But it's
And
like,
then I started playing the Cold War. It
yeah,
was in the 80s, the last year's Cold War. And I got so into it, Joe. I got so addicted. And I can admit I had a problem with that
yeah,
one. And now the new one goes back to World War II. And I don't like that one as much, but it's something about because my son's on there and I have some friends on there, and it's about keeping up with it, keeping your character up, keeping weapons at, because whenever you first start a weapon, it sucks. It is the worst. You feel like you've just started. You've never played it before in your life because the weapons suck so bad. But as you play it more and you get more attachments and you
yeah,
get
yeah.
get it refined, you start. It's but they know exactly in the sounds. It's almost like being in a casino with all the ka-chings and stuff. When
Mm-hmm.
you start hitting
Mm-hmm.
body shots and you're killing people,
Yeah,
and it makes a different sound and all that.
yeah.
It's it's relaxing though. I mean, it sets off these endorphins or whatever
Exactly.
it is
That's
in your body.
that documentary that I watched. That was the thing about like swiping down to refresh your feed is the equivalent of pulling a slot machine. It's the same thing. You're
Really?
pulling it down, going, hoping something better shows up than what you just saw. It's the same sort
Wow.
of kind of. It's the same act, and also it's releasing the same like mental stimulus sort of thing. It's just
Okay.
refreshing the feed is the same thing as pulling a slot machine. Maybe I'll win. Maybe I'll get something great. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. And imagine you're fucking 5, 6 years old because you couldn't gamble until you were 18. But now it's like some weird thing where it's not technically gambling, but it's still the same action as gambling. And you're introducing that into children, and then you're expecting them to be okay. You know what I mean? You're expecting them
Yeah.
to like be emotionally stable. It's fucked up.
Okay.
I don't see a good way out of this. Especially,
I just feel like my video game, I kind of have to play it, but social media, you got to do it as a comedian. But I
yeah,
don't even do it. I don't do it that
yeah.
good
You're a
as a
little, you're
comedian.
a little bit past it though, because like you were a little bit older when social media kind of became a thing. You know,
Right. No, I need to learn how to do it though.
but
I
now
got to
it's
learn how to
like
do it. You got to have it.
you go into a green room and that's all any of the other comics are talking about is other comics' social media and going, I'm
Yeah.
funny. I'm funnier than that guy. I don't know why he has so many followers. And it's just like, this is what you guys are worried about is like,
Well, thanks to Weber, my TikTok has really taken off and it's been.
I keep getting flagged on that fucking thing. I can't catch a break, man. I get flagged for I got flagged.
Thanks to Aaron Weber though. My TikTok's been really.
I put my
I mean, it's not outstanding, but it's way better than I ever thought it would be.
yeah. It started
Golly.
it started off doing good. I put my Joe Biden joke on there yesterday, and it got flagged for copyright infringement, which I don't know. And I tried to file. I could
A grievance.
it didn't well it didn't have. I had to send like an email to them because it didn't have the thing where I've been flagged before, where it's like, well, if you think you shouldn't be flagged, just click here and we'll review it.
Is
This
it because
this
you
one
mentioned his name?
did not
You
have
can't
that.
be.
Well, I was talking
Is it
about
critical?
sniffing kids and then Michael Jackson jerking off kids too, so it could have been.
Yeah, I saw that one.
But it wasn't. It wasn't. There was no copyright infringement on it. It's my own joke. It's my own material. But
That's the wrong
I keep getting
word.
flagged. That's what it said. Copyright infringement. The sound,
They need to come
the
up.
sound
They
that
need to
was
come
on
up with
there.
a word. They need to come up with we don't like this. Just be right. Would you accept that more?
Well, that's what because I'll get on. You can watch people die in car crashes on TikTok. You know what I mean? You watch people get
Yeah.
shot in the fucking head.
Well, and it was just like where they banned Trump, but yet you've got the leader of Syria. You got the leader of Syria and Iran and
Yeah.
people who hate America and and I'm not trying not to take sides, but I'm just saying they kept
Listen, we love
the
Donald Trump.
Taliban,
Let's just say
the
we
Taliban
love
and
Donald Trump.
ISIS. Did ISIS not have a Twitter account?
I think they did, yeah.
And the Taliban had a Twitter account.
Yeah. OJ has a Twitter account.
I meant OJ, whatever.
OJ
But
killed a lady. And a fella.
ISIS has blown up religious, ancient statues.
Yeah.
Like ancient, like, and how many deaths are they responsible for? And they still have a Twitter account. I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's all bullshit. Do you see? There's a new president of Twitter or whatever. That Jack Dorsey guy. He stepped down yesterday, and they got some new fella that stepped in. And he's already talking about. I can't remember the exact quotes he had, but it's going to be. I think Twitter's. It's been in the shitter lately anyway, but I think it's going to get a lot worse. I think everything is. The censorship on YouTube has become a lot stronger. Facebook, all these like major social media platforms have.
Well, I've heard Joe Rogan talking about at this point, shouldn't these things be a utility? Like they're that embedded into our society that they should be considered a utility.
Maybe. I don't know. Because you don't need it. You need heat, right? You need gas to a degree. You need electricity to a degree. Do you need Facebook?
No.
So just get off the shit. But how much do you miss not checking Facebook?
I don't at all.
I don't think I miss anything either, other than trying to connect with people to try and do shows. My whole thing has just been I got 3 months left of telling people happy birthday every day. That's it. That's been my whole thing for the past year. Is just
I appreciate it when people do it to me. I really do. But
I've just been making a post. The only thing I post on Facebook anymore is just saying happy birthday to people. And my goal is to do that for a year. But that's all I do on there, or maybe talk about shows or something like that. Just because it's gotten so bad, everyone's just negative. Everyone's so fucking stupid anyway. Everyone's so goddamn stupid, Monty. And for some reason, everybody thinks they're smart just because they say the thing that people agree with. But that doesn't make you smart.
And most of them are just repeating something that somebody
they heard.
Said.
It's
nobody has an original thought.
No. And I think that's something that I probably talk to you, when people talk, we probably talked about this before, but when it comes to diversity or whatever, and it's like, I don't know, because everyone's about diversity in comedy shows or whatever, but it's like, I don't know how diverse a comedy show is just because people look different, even though they're telling the same jokes and coming from the same place. You know what I mean? They're the same fucking person, but just because they look different, or maybe they fuck somebody that they're not supposed to be fucking. committing sins against God, and they go, oh, I'm a different person. It's like, no, you say the same shit everybody else says, but for some reason this lineup for a comedy show is viewed as diverse, even though everybody has the same fucking jokes. But because they look different, it's apparently a diverse lineup, which seems like some weird quasi-racism. To me it does. Go, it's diverse, and it's like, how is this diverse? Because people look different? Is that what we're focused on? People aren't thinking any differently. I know that. It's the same fucking people doing the same jokes over and over and over again.
I can tell you.
Sucks.
If you do a Trump joke, if you do a Biden joke, I'm out. As soon as you mention it, I'm out because there ain't nothing you can say that's not already been said, and the
It's
guy
it's
before you
uninteresting.
already said it, and
It
it's not. It's not
uninteresting.
thought provoking. It's not funny. There's
Uh-uh.
nothing you're gonna say.
No. No. It's an unoriginal thought. One of the there's a dude Mike Rowland. He used to live in Atlanta. He's up in New York now. He's funny as fuck. Uh, he's gotten some like Comedy Central clips and stuff like that. That dude's funny as fuck. But I remember him trying. This was before the pandemic. Trying to do just. I can't remember what the joke was. He didn't even finish the joke just because everyone reacted so harshly to it. And he's like, Trump's a bad guy, blah blah blah. We all know he's a bad person, but we can't say he did something good. Like he met with the dude from North Korea. We can't say that was a good thing. And everyone was just like, no, you can't say that was a good thing. And he's like, all right, forget it. I'll move on to the next joke then, I guess. It was just the harsh. He was such a polarizing character that I think people lost
There
their
are a
minds over
few.
that dude, man. I think people
There
really
are.
legit lost their minds over that guy. So he won in the end. In the end, Donald Trump is still winning the game because
Yeah, he is.
he's not president. People still talk about him. They still hate him. You know, everyone's
And he
so
ain't been in office in 8 months, 10 months.
yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone,
he
everyone is
is.
everyone's open minded unless you voted for Trump, which I find
Well,
fucking fascinating. I'm an
did you
open minded
see?
liberal
I know.
person. I'm open to ideas but no Trumpsters. But no
Yeah.
Trumpsters. If you voted for Trump, I won't listen to you. But I'm open minded and accepting of everybody unless you did this one thing. So you're full
Did
of
you see
shit.
where Jon Stewart has like somebody tried to bait him into talking about Trump, and he's like, "It's done. It's over.
It's over.
If you're still talking about Trump,
Till 2024,
it's
baby.
it's not.
The phoenix will rise.
It's that's your problem.
Yeah.
That's not
People need a
even John's.
people need a
Yeah,
boogeyman. They need somebody to hate. And they hated him so much that they elected a senile guy who can't form a thought. You know what I mean? That was the thing is no one's pro Biden, everyone's just anti Trump.
yeah,
It's so weird. People
yeah.
aren't people aren't pro anything. Everyone's anti something. I'm anti racism, I'm anti Trump, I'm anti this. It's like, well, what do you stand for? Do you stand for anything or do you just stand against things?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a lot of people. They just stand against shit. It's like, well, what do you stand for? It's like nothing. I drink Diet Dr. Pepper and eat Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Like, what do you expect from me? That's what I stand for. It's like, go fuck yourself then. People are retarded. It blows my mind.
We have done this for
2
2 hours and
hours,
30 minutes.
16 minutes. We'll wind down. I'll still keep talking to you, Bonnie. Well, I'll stop the
I
recording.
love talking to you. You know we can
Well,
do this
let's
all day
keep
long.
chatting. Let's wind this down. Bonnie
But my
Mitchell.
phone's gonna die.
Okay. Well, either way, I know I got some people that listen to the podcast in Nashville. If you're in Nashville, go check out the Redneck Comedy Bus. Monty Mitchell is on there as Junebug, usually Tuesdays
Yeah,
and Thursdays.
that's right. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and mostly Saturdays.
If you're passing through
Unless we got a
Nashville
show.
and you want a tour of Nashville, go check out Monty's bus. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met. And he also knows the town like the back of his hand, so you'll have a good time with that. What else you got going on, Monty? Any shows upcoming?
I got Zanies this Saturday, but this probably won't air till after that.
I might put this out on Thursday. So what is this Saturday? It will be the 4th. I think
Zanies,
I'll put this one out on Thursday. So let's say you'd be in Zanies this Saturday. Who are you with?
it's we're doing the late show, the 9:15 showcase. I don't know who the headliner is, but they don't do a late show, so we're doing a
Okay.
showcase after that.
Okay.
And right now I've got Hilton Head. I go back to Hilton Head in January and February.
All
Had a
right.
good weekend. Had a good week there in the past, and they're bringing me back. So
Need a feature?
I don't know how that works. I'll let you know.
Well, let me know whenever it
It's like
is.
the dude that owns the owns the club. Me and him kind of co-headline together.
Okay. One of those types.
Yeah, they're great people.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
Hilton Head. I don't even know where Hilton Head is.
South Carolina.
Okay.
It's rich,
Hilton Head, South
rich.
Carolina.
Yeah,
Redneck comedy bus.
Zanies,
Zanies.
Zanies, all the time.
All the time. Monty Mitchell.
Bill, they're very kind to me.
Yeah, yeah. They always have been.
Mondays,
It's the best
Tuesdays,
club in
you
the
know,
country, man.
it really is.
Yeah. It's great to have it's good to have a club that has
For that one to
a
be your
booker
home
that doesn't
club,
do fucking comedy. That's fucking fantastic.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world for that. For that to be my home club,
Yeah.
you know.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm going to stop the record. Thanks for doing the podcast, Monty.
Thank you, Joe. I love you.
I love you too, buddy. We had some fun.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.